ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, the national representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Louis Farrakhan.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, we give Him praise and thanks for His mercy and His goodness to the human family. The greatest of God's mercies is that whenever we stray from the path of His divine favor, He raises from among the people one to lead, teach, and guide them back to the straight path, that they may come again into His favor. We thank Allah for Moses and the Torah. We thank Allah for Jesus and the gospel. We thank Allah for Muhammad and the Quran. Peace be upon these worthy servants of Allah. I am a student of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I could never thank Allah enough for His intervention in our affairs in the person of Master W. Farad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever, for his coming and for his raising one up from among us to lead, teach, and guide us back to our original religion, Islam, and to make us once again favored by Allah. We thank Him for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I greet all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, and those who are watching by satellite, by television, by webcast here and throughout the world, with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. My thanks to the National Press Club, to all of you who are present, for the honor and the privilege of being before you today to speak on a subject, guidance to America and the world in a time of trouble. America has entered a great time of trouble. And when one is in trouble, money cannot help, power cannot help, right guidance is absolutely and vitally necessary. Therefore, I'm privileged to have this opportunity to speak to the President of the United States, the government of the United States, the people of the United States and the world, not with diplomatic language, because we don't need diplomacy. We need straight words. And Almighty God, Allah, demands of us in the Holy Quran that we speak straight words. I'm speaking to you this morning concerning the tragedy of 9/11/2001 and that which has followed that tragedy, that has put America in the place where America is today. Our sons and daughters and the sons and daughters of poor black, brown, and white families into harm's way in Afghanistan in Iraq, and in other theaters of war around the world. After listening to the religious and political leaders express themselves after the horror of 9/11, I was deeply concerned with their answers, and I thought that their answers to the American people were rather weak and not fully truthful. So I decided that on September the 16th, 2001, I would hold a press conference and speak to the American people concerning what I saw and what I felt watching the horror of airplanes flying into the Trade Center, seeing human beings jump from that building in flames, and then watching those two towers collapse. I asked myself, what should I say in a time like this? But shortly thereafter, Allah gave me something to say to the American people. And that press conference I have in this little booklet, Guidance in a Time of Trouble. You may read that press conference in its entirety. In response to a reporter's question at that press conference on September the 16th, I said that I would write to President Bush. It took me nearly 10 weeks to formulate the letter of advice. And on December the 1st, 2001, I sent my first letter of advice or counsel to President Bush with a copy to the Secretary of State, Colin Powell. This letter was never intended to be public. It was a private communication between a citizen and the head of state of the greatest nation and power on the earth. I shared this communication with Mr. Jude Winniski, who is a friend and former editor of the Wall Street Journal and an advisor to former President Ronald Reagan and a political and economic advisor to many today. Mr. Winniski told me that he sent a copy of my letter to Mr. Karl Rove, a major Bush strategist, who assured him that he would get my letter to the Oval Office. I would like to share with you the things that I said to the president that warned him of what I knew was in his mind and what he and this country would face if he followed the course that I knew he was on. I shall read the letter in its entirety and then comment. Dear President Bush, now remember this is December the 1st, 2001. May this letter find you, your family, and staff in the best of health and spirit in spite of the prevailing circumstances. I am Minister Louis Farrakhan, National Representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, whom I believe Allah, God, raised among the black people of America to teach us Islam as a means of our reformation and resurrection. He was also raised by Allah, God, as a warner to the government and people of the United States of America. I sit in his seat by Allah's permission and his permission. Therefore, His mission is my mission, and it is out of my sense of mission and duty that I write. I am deeply concerned for our country, and I am deeply concerned for you. I use the possessive pronoun our because the blood of my ancestors soaks this soil, and their blood has been shed in every war and on every foreign battlefield for the preservation of this nation. Therefore, we as a people feel a deep sense of ownership of America as much as any American. It is also out of this deep sense of concern and ownership that I write to you. I write you from my prison, a prison without bars that has been made for me because of the passion for truth and justice out of which I speak, and the propaganda that makes me appear to many as anti-white, anti-Christian, anti-Semitic, and anti-gay. None of these names accurately describe who I am. I hope you will open your heart to what I am writing, notwithstanding the prison from which I am writing. Since Adam, there has not been one person or nation with power and dominion over the whole earth. This is the awesome position that America holds by God's permission. This indeed is a great trial for you and for America, because when Allah allows any one of us to rule over His servants and a great part of His creation, He does so to see how we act. If we act well, He will not replace our rule. However, if we allow the power, wealth, and wisdom that we possess over Allah's servants and creation to blind us so that we act other than as Allah would desire us to act, then He acts through the forces of nature and through people to overturn our rule. This is a very dangerous hour, but it is an hour filled with great opportunity. What is needed in this hour is right or divine guidance. This guidance must be in accord with the time and what this time demands. It is written in the book of Revelations, quote, "The nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou should give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and should destroy them which destroy the earth." End quote. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, "We are living in the day of judgment." This is what is producing the anger of the nations and the wrath of God. This is the time that those who have been deprived of justice must receive justice. For it is only our acting on the principle of justice that will ease the anger of the nations and take away the wrath of God. There can be no justice without truth, and there can be no peace in the world without justice. As a nation, America is blessed with wealth, wisdom, science, technology, and abundance. America is also blessed with the awesome power to destroy nations of people. In order for you and America to receive the greatest of